Before we talk about the events of Passion Week, we need to keep in mind the difficulties surrounding this theme. First, it is not possible to accurately determine the year in which the crucifixion of Jesus occurred. In fact, we know that there is a mistake of a few years in our calendar. So Jesus may have been born between 6 and 3, before the first year of the Christian era. Thus, Passion Week probably occurred between AD 27 and 30. Second, a similar difficulty occurs about the day Jesus Christ was crucified. There is really no unanimity among scholars about it. Some argue that Jesus was crucified on Wednesday. Others believe it was on Thursday. And others argue that it was on Friday. The discussion about this is very long, and all interpretations have their arguments and difficulties. But the most widely accepted position by scholars is that the crucifixion of Jesus occurred on a Friday. So, in this video, let's adopt this traditional position. Also, an event that took place on Tuesday night, for example, in Jewish count was already considered an event of Wednesday. But to facilitate understanding, in this video we will consider the chronology of Passion Week with the current model of counting the time. Then Passion Week began with the Sunday in which Jesus' triumphant entrance occurred in Jerusalem. The Bible says that Jesus entered the city of Jerusalem mounted on a donkey. As he entered Jerusalem toward the temple, many extended their robes and branches of the trees along the way. And in this event there is a clear connection with the prophecies recorded in the Old Testament. The prophet Zechariah, for example, prophesied exactly about it in talking about a just and humble king who would bring salvation and who would come mounted on a donkey. Moreover, Psalm 26, a messianic psalm, prophetically celebrates the procession of the Messiah, and at the triumphant entrance, the multitude exactly cried this psalm. And after that, Jesus spent the night in Bethany. The next day, Monday, Jesus left Bethany to go to Jerusalem. The biblical text says that he was hungry and went to seek fruit in a fig tree, but did not find and ended up cursing that fig tree, which ended up bringing an important lesson to his disciples. In Jerusalem, Jesus performed the well-known purification of the temple, when he expelled the merchants who made trade in that place. Already late, Jesus left the city of Jerusalem. Most likely, he returned to Bethany. For the next day, they saw the same fig tree that had been cursed earlier, indicating that they went through the same way. On Tuesday of Passion Week, being again in Jerusalem, Jesus went to the temple and began to teach. So, princes of the priests, the scribes and the elders approached him to face him about the last events. They wanted to find some reason to be able to arrest Jesus. And in this context, Jesus Christ told the parables of the two sons, the bad farmers, and the wedding of the son of the king. Also on Tuesday, Jesus pronounced his eschatological sermon. In this sermon, he spoke about the destruction of the Jerusalem temple and the events that would mark the unfolding of history until the day of his second coming. On Wednesday, the plan to kill Jesus gained strength with the meeting of people's leaders to conspire against him. In connection with this, Jesus warned his disciples that he would be delivered to be crucified. That same day, Jesus was anointed in Bethany by a woman who brought him a valuable evidence in a vase of alabaster. Jesus himself related the attitude of that woman as a preparation of her body for burial. And also on Wednesday, Judas Iscariot was fined the priests of the priests in order to settle a deal to deliver Jesus. Already on Thursday, Jesus gave instructions to his disciples about the preparations for Easter. And when they were already participating in the Easter meal, Jesus spoke to his disciples that the traitor was among them. It was also at that time that Jesus instituted the supper of the Lord that should be observed in place of Jewish Passover. That same day, Jesus also washed the disciples' feet, warned that the apostle Peter would deny him, and comforted and prayed in favor of the disciples. Between Thursday night and Friday dawn, there was a sequence of many important events of Passion Week. This is because after moving with the disciples, Jesus went to the Hill of Olives to pray in a place called Gethsemane. But a while later, the traitor disciple approached Jesus and gave him the kiss of betrayal, thus resulting in his arrest. As a prisoner, Jesus attended the Sanhedrin, which was basically the Jewish Supreme Court that sought some accusation against him. It was also during this period that Peter denied Jesus, according to what Jesus himself had announced. And after being formally accused by the Sanhedrin, Jesus was taken before Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea at that time. So, in a kind of political play, Pilate sent Jesus to Herod Antipas, the Galilee tetrarch. Herod Antipas, in turn, questioned Jesus and returned him to Pilate. And in that context, the Bible says Pilate presented before the crowd Jesus Christ and Barabbas. But the crowd decided to acquit the wrongdoer, and then around 6 o'clock on Friday morning of Passion, Jesus was sentenced to death. After that, still on the morning of Passion, Jesus was hampered until he was crucified at 9 o'clock on Calvary, dying around 3 o'clock in the afternoon after delivering his spirit to the Father. Then a soldier he transposed the body of Jesus with a spear, thus fulfilling the scriptures. And finally, the body of Jesus was buried before the sunset on Friday of Passion in the grave provided by Joseph of Arimathea. Throughout the Saturday, Jesus remained buried. According to the Bible, his tomb was carefully watched by a detachment from the Roman guard. And on Sunday, the most spectacular day in history took place, when early Christ rose from the dead and triumphantly began to appear to his disciples. The four Gospels clearly describe the grave of empty Jesus and his appearances after the resurrection. Although the soldiers who guarded the tomb of Jesus were bribed to deny the truth of the miracle that had occurred, they were unable to silence the good news of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. You stayed until the end, and you know what that means? It means we're connected. So, comment your city, your country, check out the links in the description, and share this with someone who also understands the value of truly listening. Thank you, a big hug to all, and see you in the next video.